Hello everyone and welcome to my media center. My name is Kiefer and today we cover one of, if not the biggest legacy from Adventure Time, Card Wars. And I don't just mean the episode. We are covering not just one, but two episodes, two mobile apps, and the IRL card game. Because Card Wars is so much more than just the one episode. And honestly, it's just cool as hell. So, how is this video going to be structured? We will cover the Card Wars episode that everyone knows and loves. Then I will discuss the two mobile apps. Then the second Card Wars centric episode. And then the card game itself. There's a lot to cover, so let's just get into it. Starting with Season 4, Episode 14, Card Wars. Straight off rip, this theme song is still amazing over 15 years later. Which, yes, the show came out in 2010. And if you want to feel even older, it's based off a Nicktoon short from 2007. I'm only 21, but man, I feel ancient knowing Adventure Time is over 15 years old. Anyway, banger intro, followed by a great title card, setting up the episode fantastically. Adventure Time doing these to open every episode is so cool, and I wish more shows did this. This one here depicts BMO clearly not having a good time playing Card Wars, where Jake is bursting out laughing, having a blast. Now, on to the episode proper. Turns out this episode is not just known for Card Wars, it also has the Finn demolishing two sandwiches scene. I always think of this tweet when I say this. We're off to a good start here. Now, Jake comes into the scene attention-seeking crazy style. He said no one wants to play Card Wars with him. He always beats Lady Rain Corner when they play, so she doesn't play anymore. I also feel like there's another reason why she doesn't want to play, but we'll get to that later. Finn decides to face him in Card Wars to cheer him up. And then they set the stage. Jake clears off the table of dirty dishes by just throwing them out of the window, destroying them all. And then Bimo comes in and Jake offers to let him join in, but Bimo declines, saying he doesn't play such games with Jake. We will soon find out why. The table is set, snacks, drinks, the game board, and decks are handed out. However, Finn wants a wager set on this game, those stakes being set by Jake. The loser is a dweeb, and the winner is a cool guy. Also, the winner drinks some nice, refreshing Total Soda, and the dweeb drinks a mix of soda, coffee grounds, beetle butter, grape jelly, kimchi, and ham chunk juice. Nasty. Jake then takes 2 hours to explain the rules to Finn, and Finn fell asleep in the process. When he wakes up, he says he can just wing it, and the game is on. What we're about to witness is what makes this episode so legendary. Finn floops his land cards after Jake, and Jake takes the first turn. He flips the side of the truth that lets him see Finn's cards, and he takes one of his choosing. He takes the Cerebral Bloodstorm, and starts his battle phase, attacking Finn's school with Husker Knights made of corn. He also plays the card that he took from Finn. Finn needs to retaliate, so he flips the pig, but Jake says he can't do that, but the card directly says that he can. Jake is cocky, but he doesn't know everything, and that's gonna cost him. Finn's pig appears and then eats Jake's cornfields, killing the Husker Knights. Also, since Jake's attack failed, his storm attacks his own troops. Finn, in his first move, wiped out Jake's entire strategy. Jake is giving Finn some smack talk here, but Finn's attack phase starts, and he starts by making a scholar study and sends his pig to the cave for a nap, choosing to attack later. So now it's Jake's turn. Jake summons earlings to scare Finn's pig, already forgetting that Finn put his pig in a cave. He's taking a nap, bro. He tries to cast Teleport to TP Finn's pig onto the field, but that only works on his own creatures. Jake, for being so cocky, is very forgetful when it comes to this game. So, no teleportation, but he does floop a volcano, wiping out most of the battlefield, killing Finn's pig. Also, he then reclaims his land using a spell, also uses battle phase to summon the immortal Maze Walker, which his cornfields boost, doing a triple damage. Damn! Finn's turn again, where he uses his scholar to revive the pig, and the pig eats the cornfield. The adorable little pig is OP, man. Also during this turn, Finn's Spirit Towers claims Jake's Maze Walker, so he switches teams. This makes Jake so angry, he walks away talking very angrily to himself. So Finn suggests they take a break, but Jake refuses, growing huge, picking Finn up with one hand, demanding he play his next turn. Finn is now scared and says he's gonna run to the bathroom, but really he goes and gets Bimo. Bimo says if Jake loses the game, he gets super depressed and won't talk to Finn for a whole month. Bimo says Finn must throw the game, and then Jake stretches his arms and grabs Finn to bring him back. You gotta cut the tension with a knife, folks. Finn activates the pig to attack Jake's wandering bald man, hoping it would kill the pig, but the pig wins. The game is over. Until the pig gets stuck in the mud and becomes Jake's monster. Jake reclaims his land, summons Archer Dan to wipe out Finn's structures. Jake then summons the Field Reaper, which takes control of 5 of your opponent's creatures, taking all of Finn's characters, winning the game. Jake then literally rubs Finn's face on the game board, saying, "In your face," and he hands him the dweeb cup. Finn smells it and rightfully gags. Jake asks if it's too much, but Finn drinks it like a man and says it's not that bad. Jake then takes a sip and promptly spits it out. The two bros laugh and drink that nasty ass drink. Meanwhile, BMO skates by, shaking his head in disappointment, ending the episode. And Adventure Time does not just have an S tier intro, but also a fantastic outro song. Now, that episode was very fun, and it's easy to see why this became one of the show's most beloved episodes. It's the same reason why people love holographic chess in Star Wars. It brings the imagination of Dungeons and Dragons and rips it out straight of your head and throws it onto the game board. It rules. However, as I said before, it is not the only episode to feature Card Wars. It appeared in episodes Wake Up, Daddy-Daughter Card Wars, and in another show in the Adventure Time universe called Distant Lands, in an episode titled BMO. Now, as you can imagine, an episode with Card Wars in the title features it pretty heavy, so I'm going to cover that episode in this video as well. But before that, let's discuss the Cartoon Network mobile app, Adventure Time Card Wars, released on February 8th, 2014, 2 years after Card Wars aired. It was for iOS and Android, developed by Kung Fu Factory. The game is what you'd expect. You play as characters from the show and play Card Wars. The game was received very well and got a sequel in 2016 called Card Wars Kingdom. I remember playing the first game as a kid and loving it. However, both of these games are now shut down and unable to be downloaded, unless you can find the fan-made versions. Now, let's talk about Season 8, Episode 11, Daddy-Daughter Card Wars. Released July 7th, 2016, a few days short of the 4-year anniversary of Card Wars. Let's get into it. The title card is nice here, showing a young Jake playing Card Wars in a restaurant surrounded by other animals. It's nice, simple to the point, I like it. Jake, Charlie, and BMO are sailing on the HMS Sugar Spit. Great name. Charlie's giving BMO a tarot card reading, and Jake is just kind of staring at them. He then pulls out the pig from Card Wars. BMO, at the sight of just one card from Card Wars, jumps overboard. Jake tries to save BMO but fails. He then gives Charlie the backstory on Card Wars. And we get a nice flashback here. We see a younger Jake in this montage, playing Card Wars. He has a ponytail, has a nice jean jacket, a unicorn he was dating at the time, and then he loses a game of Card Wars. To a man we don't know yet. We then get to see what happens when he loses at Card Wars. He jumps out of a window, back in through the window, through a different window, holding 2 chairs, swinging them around like a madman. Charlie isn't very interested, saying it's too many rules, but Jake protests, saying she would be great. He also says he thinks he's around 40 here, so we basically had to confirm age for Jake in this episode, which is cool. Charlie then says she will play if Jake gives her one of his bones. So he does. This was fucking freaky, man. After this, we see BMO did survive, by the way, so that's good. But why are they on this boat anyway? To go to a Card Wars tournament. And to even enter this building, you have to make 2 cards kiss. Hell yeah. It is the 59th annual Card Wars Doubles Classic. He knows basically everyone here, including the reigning champions, the man who beat him in the flashback, Grand Prix, and his ex moniker. There is very clearly tension here, and Jake is getting more angry hearing about their lives, and Jake almost makes a scene. Jake and Charlie registers a team, and their team is Team Dignified. And then the tourney begins. We get to see what 2v2 Card Wars games looks like here, and it's very cool. I won't go over every move like I did previously for the sake of time, but just know Jake is trying to hide his rage when things don't go his way, as to not show his daughter his anger issues, and Charlie doesn't really know what she's doing, but is great at the game. They win the first game, and Charlie says she's out. 1 bone for 1 game. But Jake wants to win, so he can put his past behind him, and he spits out his whole skeleton to offer to Charlie, but she declines. Charlie leaves, so Jake makes it look like of Charlie using his body. However, Grand Prix and Monica see this, but they say they want tattle. Jake swears to crush them, and we see Charlie go home to her crazy-ass place. She lives in a pyramid, with ancient artifacts all around her. But we get to see what Charlie does with the bone. She has Lady Rainicorn's hair and Jake's bone, so she does a tarot reading on them together to see her future. However, we cut back to the semifinals and Jake is struggling. He plays a very frowned upon move to go to the finals and face the reigning champions. Even the announcer says it's a garbage win. Jake is ashamed of himself and he runs to the bathroom while we catch up with Charlie. The reading is rough and hard for Charlie, but she knows now she has to be there for Jake to help him overcome his past. In her vision, she sees futures of herself, and she merges with her 90-year-old self. Back with Jake, he is in a screaming fight with his 20-year-old self in the mirror, trying to overcome his tragic past. Charlie then shows up and helps Jake be rid of himself of his 20s, and they go to the finals. The game is intense. We get to see the highlights and the ending. Grand Prix and Moniker win. Jake starts to shake. He stands up, and he says, "Good game," and shakes their hands, ending the episode. And that was a really nice episode, using Card Wars as a way to help Jake get rid of his past demons and build a strong relationship with his daughter. Also, some fun facts, Finn is not in this episode at all, and this is actually Charlie's first speaking role in the show. We have covered the first Card Wars episode, the mobile app, the second mobile app, the second Card Wars episode, and now it's time to end this episode off with the actual card game itself, Card Wars. In 2013, a company named Cryptozoic partnered with Cartoon Network to bring this game to life. Now, it can be hard to find much about this original version of the game because semi-recently, the same company did a Kickstarter to release the 10-year anniversary edition, raising about $1.5 million. Both of these things is what it sounds like. It is just taking the game out of the show and putting it into your hands. I unfortunately don't have this game, so I cannot tell you everything about it, but there are so many unboxing videos and videos going around all over the internet telling you about it, the rules, the videos of them playing it, so I recommend you find that for yourself. Also, if you want to play a more accurate version of this game, more attuned to the show, with all the works, on Steam you can buy a game called Tabletop Simulator, and someone's making a Card Wars mod for it. It looks super dope. So there's that there for you. Card Wars is one of Adventure Time and Cartoon Network's biggest legacies, truly. It is so cool and rich with potential, and that potential is now, over 10 years later, finally being truly realized. I wish we got more Card Wars stuff in the show, and maybe we will one day with Fiona and Cake, I don't know. But I love Card Wars, I love Adventure Time, and I want to say thank you for all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, ding the bell, check the links in the description, buy the merch, follow my Twitch, and all my socials. I have been Kiefer. Thank you all so much for watching, but most importantly, don't forget to stay hydrated.